Alright, now, this might be a little shocking, but I'm Panda again. Well, Trash Panda. Why? Well, you see, I couldn't honestly tell you exactly why, but all the other model files are gone. So this is the only one I have left currently. I have to remake all the other ones. So, we are a panda today. The boys are not here right now. So, let's go ask some people in the village. Then we'll go and look at the bullet sites, or the shot sites, potential.
Our tenant, the policeman. I hope the waves don't keep you up at night. What can I help you with?
Have you seen a red-haired woman named Ruby around the coast?
Nay, I haven't seen anyone lately.
Because she's blind, which you seem to have forgotten.
Okay, but you know who I'm talking about.
This is my little cinder block town. I know what goes on around here.
She's being evasive. She knows something.
Mm-hmm. Of course she does. Old women always know everybody's business.
There was a murder in Martinez. She might be a suspect. We would appreciate your help.
Would you now? I know how this world works, and it doesn't work when people tell on each other.
This is like when that man locked himself in the woodshed. We just need to help her come out.
No, it's not like that, man. With him we called you. Right now, you just arrived by yourself, like a raven plucking at the window glass.
I see. You know something, but you've decided not to tell us.
There's not much to tell. People come and go. Now, was there something else?
I see, man. I hope you don't mind if we look around anyway.
You should look around your shack. Maybe she's rented it out to others too.
That's an excellent thought logic. Let's have a look. So,
As you look at the floorboards in this corner of the shack, it's clear one of them isn't quite level with the others. The edge of a floorboard next to it looks scratched.
move it board aside.
Hollow space underneath the floorboards is dark and damp. You can barely make out the mixture of sand and sawdust below.
What's in here?
Nothing particular catches your eye. Looks like more reeds. There might be something hidden inside the sand, though. Something bad. Someone's night thoughts. A last resort. A bad idea.
Search for the sand and sawdust.
You stick your hand in and start combing through the sand. Dry, not like outside. Fine dust. And then, something hard wrapped in paper.
What is it?
A small cylindrical object. You pull it out. A bullet. A 9mm bullet, to be exact. Fit for all muzzle loaders of that caliber. Like your own Villiers pistol, for example.
A bullet. Interesting.
The floorboard doesn't care. But maybe the washerwoman does. You have enough to confront her with. It's extra ammunition. She's locked and loaded, ready to fight some cops.
Excellent input, hand-eye coordination, but I severely doubt that the blind lady is planning to do that.
Holding the bullet, you get the feeling this isn't ammunition against you. It's for herself.
While we're here,
An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see the reflection of your face in it, adorned with the expression.
stop the expression.
It's like something snaps in you. A nerve ending. A thought. A sadness. Your face in the mirror is suddenly clean of the layer that had distorted it for God knows how long.
We did it.
Just like that, it's over. The running gag that your life had become. A sad old man looks back at you.
He does look significantly sadder suddenly. But he's kind of a sad man, so... You know, that's
On the
accurate.
table, you see a bowl of water, a rough soap.
It's
and
time
next
to
it,
shave.
A small hand mirror, like an artist with a brush or a master swordsman. You use the small mirror and the straight razor with some soap. to remove all that unkempt hair from below the nose.
We're a whole new man.
The sharp blade chafes
Oh, no.
against your skin, producing a scratching sound. The surface underneath the beard feels tender, the air brushing against it chilly.
Feel your clean-shaven cheeks.
They feel so smooth, surprisingly so. A feeling of freshness overcomes you, as if you just came from a cold bath.
Was shaving the right call?
The water reflects back a vague image of your clean-shaven face. Despite the bulbous nose, unkempt hair, and persistent swelling, you look a little younger, maybe. You almost look like a professional.
Wow. We're a whole new man. How do we look in the inventory screen? Oh, hell yeah. A lot better than in the portrait, to be honest with you. We've got 2 bullets. Let's go. Kim, I have great news. Do you have any input?
Yes?
So, I shaved.
Yes. I don't know what to say. Perhaps,
What is it? You can tell me, Kim.
I'm not really sure about this turn of events. I think the mutton chops might have been a better idea. They sort of seem to cover up some of the...
Yeah, damage. He means damage.
That was a challenging check. It's really easy to tell what Kim meant there.
Either way, good on you. You were saying?
Yeah. We're a new man, Kim. We've turned over a new leaf in life. You know? We've given up the drugs.
I hope the waves don't keep you up at night.
Why was there a
What
bullet?
can I have? Damn that girl.
Ha ha ha.
And without anger, a long and harsh life has taught her not to buckle under pressure.
A bullet?
Oh, I was expecting more. The lieutenant turns to you and gives you a little nod, then turns to the washerwoman.
You didn't put it there, did you? She did.
Gone and hid things in there? She's usually a good tenant, and not a stupid one either.
You rented the room to her?
Yes, I let my room to that Ruby girl.
She speaks slowly, wringing out a rag. After a long silence, her hand moves into the water bucket. Some water sloshes over the edge.
As I've done before when she's been in trouble or just looking for solitude. I've made it clear. We welcome all kinds of people here.
When was this?
She came last Friday, left on Monday in a hurry. What has she gotten herself into, that girl?
She seems genuinely worried about her previous tenant. She's seen her hiding out from trouble before. But this seems different.
That's for the police to find out. Right there. Please answer each question to the best of your ability. I'm sure we have a few.
You said she left on Monday?
Yes, early with the dogs, around 8 o'clock, I think.
With the dogs.
She probably heard the lieutenant's Kanema drive by, and it woke her up, just like it did you.
Kim, she must have heard your Kanema.
Yes. That is a downside of having a 130 kilowatt engine. It lets the bad guys know when you are coming.
Is the room exactly as she left it?
I cleaned it, like I always do.
Was there anything else there?
No,
The truth, sire.
Well, thank you, drama. It's so nice to be able to trust you again. What is she like, Ruby?
she's good company. Knows how to talk to an old woman. At my age, you don't get a lot of quality conversation. So I really appreciate that about her.
Did she talk to you much during her last stay?
No, she was mostly silent this time. Kept to herself.
What do you mean?
She tried not to let it show, but I could tell she hadn't come to fish. Usually she likes to cast a few lines, but this time she mostly stayed in her room.
Why do you think she left the bullet there?
How would I know? She's a gruff one, but not violent. She doesn't go around toting a gun.
She looks back toward her shack, thinking.
You could ask her about your hunch, that it was a desperate measure. See if she thinks Ruby fits the bill.
I have a possible explanation in my mind.
Aye, do tell.
A seagull flies overhead, obviously a bad omen. It's an exit plan.
Exit from what?
The world.
The lieutenant stops writing for a moment. He looks at you, then at the old woman.
No, she's a fighter.
She really believes that.
I heard she was a heavy drinker with anger issues. You ever witnessed that kind of behavior?
Nothing of the sort. Sure, she was no stranger to the bottle. She fit in that way. But I only knew her to have a beer on the beach while watching the sunset.
The sun sets for everyone.
Thank you, Inland Empire. We are aware.
She isn't what you'd call a drunk. Even offered me some from time to time. Said it was part of the communal life. But I never saw her lose control of herself, the way some people do.
Did she have any technical equipment with her, like radio stuff?
Not that I knew of, though she was into nice music. She once showed me a few mixtape milieux she'd made.
She brushes her forehead with the back of her hand. Water drips to the ground.
Although I guess she was pretty handy with the mechanical and technical stuff. Even fixed the heater in the shack. You should be thankful for that.
Where did she go?
I don't know. Further up the coast. She tried to leave quietly, but the hinges on that door screeched like a cat in heat. Woke me up. I heard her rushing in those heavy boots, heading up north.
It's a peninsula. She might be trapped.
You'll never find her, you know. She knows the coast like the back of her hand. You only just arrived.
I get the impression she's behind that door that we were very explicitly told we couldn't open. Because there aren't very many other interactable buildings on the coast. Unless it's just like we were not given the option to interact with them previously, I suppose. But, you know, I get the vibe that she's behind that door.
I wouldn't worry about that, ma'am. We are persistent.
Further up the coast we go then.
Are you sure you would rather stay here? Get a nice cozy fire going in the heater? Seems like a better idea to me.
The failed electric neuron. You feel like you should go look at it again. Step closer this time.
The felled electric neural.
One thing, officer. If you do find her, please go easy on her.
Oh, she looks around. The air is getting colder.
She really means it. It's an honest plea.
She's a good girl. Whatever she's gotten herself mixed up in.
Well, that went well. The very first person we talked to immediately got some information. Always trust an old lady to know what's going on with all the gossip. So, we had to look along the coast for Clausier's passport, because apparently the Phasmid might be stealing it, according to Shivers. The beams are splintered. The bridge wouldn't collapse on its own. Artillery broke it. You're still up there, dude? Take your son home. Jesus Christ. It's a new day. You gotta move on, dog. So, where along the coast do you think it's likely to be, though? There's a lot of coast. Just checking that nothing's appeared over here. A door, a building, a hiding place. Could the instigator be inside? Possibly, but there's no door to interact with, so... According to Inland Empire, we should check the failed electrical building. So we'll do that. As soon as we sweep the coast for the Boyu. Is it along here? Oh. Could this be the Boyu Clausier told you about?
A metal and plastic contraption bobs up and down amidst the trembling reeds. At first, it just looks like trash. But if you look closer...
That, over there, must be the boy class you told us about. The one she hid her passport in. We should take a look.
Cold, air, tendons. Snapped the cords keeping the boy in place. A little longer, and it would be floating somewhere out in the open sea.
What?
Moves across the water, leaving no traces. You're cold again, as always.
Yes, but who or what is this?
Splendor.
Damn, I felt really strange right now.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. We're lucky it's still here. A little longer and it would have floated away.
Indeed. Let's see what's inside.
Pick it up.
The buoy is not tied to anything. The cords dangling from the bottom really have been torn or cut. You lift it out of the water easily, noticing how light it is.
So what tore or cut it? The phasmid? Examine the ball.
The number 11 has been written on the yellow plastic. It hasn't been in the water for very long, but it's already discolored and slimy with silt. A latch holds it close, but only just barely. The brittle metal of the latch has cracked.
Simple construction.
Shake it.
Very unsafe.
There's something in there, splashing around.
Sniff it.
It smells like you would expect it to smell. A concentrated version of the coast. Salt, industrial slop, and decay. The water this side of the peninsula is cleaner, actually. Smells a little salty.
Open it.
A shot glass's worth of seawater pours out. Some algae, and nothing else.
Well, damn.
No documents. Who do you think took them?
I have no idea.
This is a minor quirk. We know what was in the Boyu anyway.
Or think we do. This is a small loose end, either way. Not important, I hope.
Could this be related to the cryptozoologists and their little expedition?
In my experience, cryptids are generally uninterested in travel documentation. We should go.
You could ask the miss what she thinks. Later, if you have the time. Though you doubt she'll tell you much at this point.
It doesn't seem as if she'd have much to add to that, but you never know. It's almost impossible to get a fire going near the ocean. Alright, let's check the electrical mural. Shivers, well, it wasn't Shivers, was it? It was Inland Empire. If it was Shivers, I would trust it implicitly.
You see a once bright mural towering above you. The signage has peeled off over the years, but you can still make out Feld Electrical R&D, a slogan used to intertwine with the loops a long time ago. Now, only a shadow of peeled letters remains. It says, "Tomorrow is just a whisper away."
Step closer.
Above the mural, a collapsed roof, broken windows set in walls that are cracking and will soon also fall, and the coastal breeze rustling and sighing in the remains of the edifice. Feld Electrical. How ironic. All these dark rooms. Feld Electrical. You only know them as a small company that makes ink cartridges. Looks like they used to be big. There's something in the wind. Sometimes the only way to go forward is to fail first.
Why do I feel like I know this place?
Indeed. Somehow you knew it was here. An urban ruin, gutted by looters that once used to consume money and dispense warmth and light. You felt it before, when it rained in Martinez, and you felt the cold of the rain. The feeling persists. It has been in you ever since.
So true. Could Ruby be in there?
In there? She could. Or she could be in the identical room over there, or in that boat shack. In that church tower, maybe.
Why single out this one building?
A Shivers check? This is what I've been waiting for. An active Shivers check.
Even though you're sure you succeeded, all is quiet. There is no cold hand brushing against your forehead. No rustle in the reeds. The wind has died down. The ruin in front of you is silent as a tomb.
What was I even attempting to do here?
Trying to talk to the wind. The city, whatever you thought would happen, did not. And now you're just standing there with your hands fallen to your side. Is trying to talk to the city something you've done before? Is it in your secret repertoire? A trick for when you're out of ideas? A prayer of sorts. To Revachol.
I love that idea. To ask the city itself, the ephemeral spirit of the city, where is the culprit? She could be anywhere. How do we find her?
How do we? I was really hoping she'd be in the village. She's probably north of the village, and this place is a peninsula. We already scanned most of the outdoor areas on our wild cryptid hunt, so we have an understanding of the geography, at least. And then there's the church. We've already searched that and can rule it out. I know it doesn't feel like progress, but exclusion is a step too. Anyway, we do it the old-fashioned way, sector by sector. Go over the whole peninsula, ask the locals, enter the places where we can enter first, like we did in the village.
And if that fails, if we don't find her?
Then, if we're desperate, we can look where we can't enter. Bunkers, tomb drainage, this place. I'm sure it won't come to that.
He looks behind him, the dark red box crumbling across the chasm.
Walk the coast, the old boardwalk, the reeds. You can always come back here and talk to the wind again. Look where it already got you.
But what if I listen to the wind again right now?
Suddenly, there's a sigh, carried on the molecules around you, moving, flowing from high pressure to low pressure, like that of a woman emptying her lungs. She rats the collapsing stone box in front of you in her breath, flowing through it.
Where does it go?
In through the collapsed roof, flowing down a concrete staircase to the basement, sweeping away footprints in the dust on the stairs, and then the beach below the boardwalk, its winding tunnels, a whisper away.
What is happening?
She's down there.
I think she's down there, below this building.
Okay. Why?
The wind told me.
So, how do we get in there? The doors were on the collapsed side of this building. They're gone, basically.
Finally, my time to shine.
Oh, there's a ladder next to the sign. Perhaps we can climb it, enter through the roof.
Perhaps you can climb them. We are not climbing anything. I'm 43 years old, and I plan to live to see 70.
So be it, Kim.
A rusty ladder leads to the rooftop. Some of the rungs are missing.
Yeah, that doesn't look good at all.
Assess the situation.
The distances between the remaining rungs are rather wide. You'd have to use the mounting brackets. However, they seem corroded and the peeling rust is razor sharp. In addition, the first rung is going to be tough to reach. It's what, 3 meters above the ground? And you're 180?
190, I'm a giant.
Okay, but still, the roof is collapsing and the wind gets pretty brutal up there. Dismounting from the ladder is going to be hard. Perhaps if you were to not climb the ladder. Instead, what if you were to reconceptualize climbing the ladder?
Elaborate.
Astral projection. Be open-minded about this.
What if I don't climb? What if I just teleport?
Teleportation is not a thing.
Come on, Kim, where's your adventurous spirit?
This really has nothing to do with adventure. We are dealing with basic physics here.
It won't hurt to try.
Oh yes, it could hurt. A lot.
He is restraining himself from using a parental tone with you right now.
All right. Teleport to the roof.
All you need to do is close your eyes and concentrate. Darkness enfolds you. You can feel the distance between the bench and the first rung of the ladder. All you need to is...
Do it.
Zoot, zap, pow, crinkle. It's like magic. You feel yourself disappear, your atoms fading out of existence.
Oh my god, I can't believe it.
Bam! You find yourself on the roof, having mastered the art of physical displacement.
Don't gloat. Just stand there like a Samaran master.
You know, for the record, you didn't teleport there. You just climbed the ladder with your eyes closed.
Just so you know, you weren't right.
The wind at the top of the building starts howling loudly, blowing away the lieutenant's voice. Faintly you hear.
Never mind. Find a way to let me in when you get inside. Don't go adventuring with a backup, especially if we think the suspect may be hiding here.
Damn, we're good. Holy shit. Alright, we leveled up. What do we want to do now? Maybe another hand-eye coordination. I live in constant fear of having to get into a fight and not being ready. What else would I do? Because all our mental stats are doing great. You know, intellect, psyche, doing great. Bang up job. Suggestion could be doing better, but whatever. You know, you can't be good at everything. I think we're gonna do another hand-eye coordination. Because, you know, I live in constant fear of fighting the mercenaries. The central support seems to have been destroyed by artillery fire. Can we get to the other roof? Okay. Stones Fall. It's a long way down. The glass is covered with grime and dust. You can barely see out. Tight. Ooh. You should take out your flashlight. Excellent insight. You're 100% right. Maybe we should take our gun out. That might be a little much right now. Maybe let's chill. The collapse nearly sealed the basement. One can barely squeeze by. Antiquated office furniture. Last century, maybe? Brought down and forgotten long ago. Table overturned. This overturned table is covered in orange mildew, crawling with something. Ah, Kim.
2 rusty metal plates that slide apart form a crude door. It's been here under the boardwalk for a while.
Who's there?
What do you mean, who's there? It's me, Kim. Stop playing around and help me get the door open.
Open the door. I've been expecting you, Lieutenant Kitsuragi.
But they've gotten jammed. You grab a side and put some strength into prying it open. With the help of your partner, the 2 metal panels slide open with a creak.
Huh. I hope no one dangerous heard that.
How did you even get there?
After you climbed up to the roof, you mean? There's a maintenance entrance under the boardwalk. It's next to a drain pipe, possibly a storm drain. It was easy to miss before.
He's quite proud of himself.
At least we now know a quick way in and out.
Yes, we have an exit, so let's get going. Time to investigate these passages.
The other 2 seemed awfully rude for no reason. Is there anything out here? That's just leaves. Okay. Old file folders in the cart. Documents silvery with mold. It auto-saved. Suspicious. A series of thick, dusty panes of glass. Ooh! +1 suggestion. What's our current jacket do? Empathy and hand-eye coordination. I'd rather have that than 1 suggestion. How does it look, though? Blech. Blah. Let's go. In the beam of the flashlight, a crevice in the wall. A crevice. Stale fabric smell and dust. No one slept here in months, maybe years. Ooh. Oh. That doesn't sound very helpful, but tight. Revolutionary propaganda on the bunk bed. Ancient flyers and brochures. These pots and plates are full of dust and spiderwebs.
A mustachioed and mutton-chopped man, amateurishly depicted, gazes at you with sad eyes. The plaque reads, K. Mazov. There is a spiderweb in the lower left corner of the portrait.
Amateurishly? That looks pretty good to me. Brush the dust off.
Years' worth of dust is shaken off. The full head of hair, matched by an ample moustache and sideburns, look a bit silly. Someone crouches, heels digging into wet sand. Hands sweep across the sand. Grains stick into the frayed skin of the fingertips. An old man sits on a slab of concrete, and taps his fingers against the glass of a scope. You shudder.
Look, Kim. It's Comrade Mazov.
Yes, I can see that. Looks like some communists were hiding out here. They left a long time ago.
The lieutenant does not seem to share your enthusiasm.
A long time ago. How long?
Half a century? This was probably part of the network of defense posts the communards built against the amphibious landing. I think the purpose of this bunker was to produce propaganda. It would have had radio equipment back then, but that's all been looted.
What's with all these secret weapons caches and secret bunkers?
We have found a lot of those lately. I guess what most people think of as history tends to linger in rundown neighborhoods. Martinez being what it is, no one has gone through the trouble of cleaning out the old bunkers.
Could it be connected to the Mazov bust we found in the students' room?
Millions of depictions of Mazov have been produced. They're not all connected. Besides, that looked like some student. The youths always go for this kind of stuff.
Yes, communism is very rad, I do agree. I'm a youth, thank you. Could someone have stopped through here recently?
You mean like Ruby? No, I think we've stumbled on a piece of history.
Oh, wait. The same silt window you saw from outside.
Could this have been the killer's hideout? And this narrow window, the point of origin of the shot that killed the mercenary?
Surely not.
This does look like an embrasure, a slit made for shooting out of.
Peek out.
Outside the window, desolation. Snow falls softly onto the coastal sand, where it melts almost instantly. On rooftops, it lingers.
Could the killer have used this as a hideout?
It's a great place to hide, and Mazovianism and murder are certainly not mutually exclusive. But there hasn't been anyone here in ages.
I can't see the whirling in rags. The shot didn't come from here.
Indeed. No one could get a clear view. Well, at least we've been thorough. I like thorough.
The lieutenant's voice betrays a slight disappointment, which he glosses over by reasserting control.
In fact, I think we're done with this bunker. After you, officer.
You never know. But what else lurks? Footprints. Footprints in the sand. One of the soles appears more worn than the other. There's something in the air. An unnatural buzzing. Tunnel collapse. You have to find another way around. It's getting louder. The buzzing sound.
There it is again, like a swarm of hornets buzzing under your scalp. A strange tingling you can almost smell.
Lieutenant, do you feel something?
No. What do you mean?
A pain, a strange tingling.
I don't feel it, but we should still be careful. There were footprints back there, and I'm pretty sure they were fresh.
Hold on, you really don't feel anything?
No, but you are the sensitive one.
It's not a quib. The situation is dangerous.
I saw them too, footprints with the right sole worn smooth.
Looks like our suspect. If she's in here, we need to plan our next step carefully.
What do you mean?
Once we detain a credible suspect, who knows what the Union and the Wild Pines will do? We'll set in motion events we have no control over.
You will upset the balance of power in Martinez. The deadlock between the company and the Union will destabilize. This part of town is a fine clockwork puzzle. Disturb its peace, and it will start breaking down uncontrollably. Keep calm. Go over the whole situation in detail.
We found out Everett's plan to take over the harbor. Maybe we should tell Joyce about it.
I leave that to your judgment. You already know what I think about cross-pollinating information like this. It's dangerous, but...
He just can't be sure. Maybe it will yield something useful.
We checked the boy with Clausier's documents. I want to hear her take on why it was empty before.
Okay, why not? Whatever goes down might also affect her. The Union is watching her closely now.
Not closely enough, you suspect. But still, good idea to visit her once more.
How bad do you think things could get?
Well, we are not responsible for what we can't predict, are we? I don't think the entire city will be razed to the ground.
If you can't predict it, there's nothing you could have done.
I think I see a cavern. Maybe more cellars? I think we've been careful enough. we still have the element of surprise.
I wouldn't be so sure. You haven't exactly been sneaking.
Or maybe not. Either way, once we go deeper, there will be no turning back.
So what you're telling me is this is the point of no return. Alright. We'll come back later then. Because we have to check the other sniper posts. Then we have to talk to Clausier. I think we should tell Joyce. I don't know that it will necessarily help matters. I just feel like we should. So we need to look where exactly? Oh right, we could have just told Gart, couldn't we? Check island for bullet traces. Check Land's End for bullet traces. Oh. Relax, it's not yours. You didn't crash every MC in Revachol, hopefully. There's a slit in concrete here. A sewer. Well, we've just so happened to have found the other side of that. Land's End is like that little bit off to the side, right? Like that little tiny pokey bit behind the church.
Is there something here that would indicate a sniper used this place as a nest for taking the shot? Just some urban detritus, a bottle, and a dilapidated old comms tower. In the distance, you can hear the breakers roar.
I don't see it, Lieutenant W. Freitor. I don't see a person take a shot here and hit something there. In the whirling in rags.
Maybe the campfire was used by the perpetrator?
To warm his hands before pulling the trigger? Perhaps. But anyone could have made this. The coast is specked with fire this time of year. Truthfully, this seems like a very poor choice to take a 1.2 kilometer rifle shot from. Visibility is awful. There's water vapor everywhere. I think we can rule out... Biddable Prime, was it?
Maybe the assailant climbed the comms tower, took the shot there?
It's not possible to climb that ladder. And even if it were, why? There's no platform up there to aim from.
What about the cigarette butts?
Those? A smoking assailant who favors Tumutiri to Astra or Joanne? Cigarette butts are everywhere. This is a common brand for all men.
Still, you felt it was important enough to make a mental note. That means something. You didn't pay attention to any of the other cigarette butts on the coast.
So true. Look over to the whirling in rags.
There, 1.2 kilometers over the cold water of the bay, through a thick snowstorm melting flake by flake in the waves, you see the smallest rectangle, barely visible. A glowing light on the third floor of the whirling in rags. With binoculars, you would see a young woman's shape move behind the glass, her limbs long and slender.
Alright. Take a mental note. Seems important somehow. The relay tower coordinates boat traffic in the bay. Barely. Now, the problem is, of course, check the island for bullet traces. How the fuck do we get to the island? Right? We need a boat to do that. And, we don't have one. Maybe we can ask to use Joyce's boat? So... Wait, I can't teleport? Why can I not teleport? I have been robbed of my ability to teleport. Unbelievable. I will walk then. Can we try this skill check again?
Hi again, Gendarme.
What is it about the way he carries himself?
Could he be a member of the homosexual underground?
Oh ho 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 ho.
Just pointing it out. We're not talking about some kind of cult with members here. You made it up.
Oh. The homosexual underground sounds cool as fuck, though. Are you part of the homosexual underground?
The homosexual underground?
Oh, I expected more. The smoker sits up immediately, his eyes wide with amused surprise. A honeyed smile lingers on his lips.
Why, yes I am, officer. Why? Do you want to investigate?
Yes, I want to hear more about this homosexual underground you're part of.
Oh, it's a pleasure group. A Subrosa pleasure group congregating in cellars under the cover of night. Saturday night. Sometimes even Friday night.
2 nights a week? My goodness. What about Thursday night?
Or Thursday night. Sometimes the congregating doesn't even end. It carries on into our daily life.
That's incredible. I had no idea. But why do you convene? What do you do?
Oh, we're ambitious. We want to destroy the last vestiges of meaning. The last things people in Revachol have to hold on to. The true symbols of security. The meaning of man and woman, mother and father, and marriage.
That's sick as hell. I love that.
Everything will be constantly shifting and moving under our rule. The future will belong to a circus of identities just spinning around, surreal and unreal. You won't even know who you are anymore.
Does it have anything to do with disco?
Yes, we listen to a lot of disco. Some say we engineered disco to spread our vision of a vertiginous, ever-changing society, where all there is a razzle-dazzle of gold.
Being homosexual sounds amazing.
We are going to change the family unit with all this razzmatazz and finger dancing. And with mysteries. Of course, the mysteries are also of sexual nature. Very esoteric.
I love it. I do like disco. Maybe I should get into it.
You can't just get into it. You have to be born into it. One is either already in the homosexual movement or forever excluded from it.
Oh. What if I can't remember whether I'm in or not? What if I can't remember anything about my life, aside from the fact that I like disco?
Beautiful. Beautiful. That's exactly what we're looking for. Who knows, maybe you were homosexual in the past. Maybe all of that has been repressed. I have to say that you do look like someone who might be part of the underground. You have that very distinctive, I can't understand what's going on here look.
Okay. This is gonna be like a 20-hour mind project for me. 20 hours at least.
Absolutely wonderful.
A man like you can figure out his sexuality in a working day. It won't be 20 hours unless you want to enter the heightened realms of the phantasme erotique afterwards. It may be 20 hours or more, but that would be on your own time.
Bye-bye, Gendarme.
I am known to undertake homosexuality in my own time. Ah, damn. We don't have another point to put that in there, but that obviously has to be a #1 priority. In the meantime, should we tell Gart about the... No. That seems needlessly cruel to Gart. He's done nothing to be told, done nothing to deserve being told. Hey, by the way, you're part of the doomed commercial district. So, Clausier.
I was just thinking, what a nice day for questions pertaining to a murder investigation.
Why do I feel like you've won here?
I really don't know, sir. I certainly don't feel like I've won. I feel like shit, sir. All the time.
So relatable, Queen.
She smiles. A bitter little smile. She means it.
But this turned out well for you. You've slipped past all suspicion.
Clearly, I haven't. We're having this conversation, aren't we? How well could it have gone, I mean?
The snow falls on her shoulders, then melts in her light blonde hair, cold and soft.
I'm stuck in Martinez just like all of us. I've been up here for... I don't know how long now. I like to call this my rooftop containment facility.
What are you contained for, then?
For my sins, of course. The long-standing sins of a bad, frivolous person. For destroying my first love. For working for bad people. The list goes on and on.
Something seems off about this theory I've developed. About Ruby.
I don't know what to say.
It all seems fortuitous for you.
None of this is fortuitous for me.
The dried flowers on the roof. Could Ruby have left them? These don't fit with anything.
The what? Oh, those ones. I don't know, sir. I said I have no idea what to make of them. Honestly, I think they're just trash. I mean, there's no reason for me to think they're somehow connected to her.
That's it, I guess, then.
She nods, slowly, carefully even. There is suddenly a strange glint in her eyes. Not malicious, but dangerous.
I found your boyu. It was empty. Just seawater.
Oh,
Did you take the documents?
no, of course not. As I said, it would have been too risky for me to use those documents anyway. My employer gave them to me. In truth, I should have destroyed them.
She doesn't seem to be lying. She's genuinely spooked by their disappearance.
I have this strange feeling that it was an undiscovered cryptid that took your documents.
Cryptid? Of course. That must be it. Thank you. I feel better already.
You're welcome.
Now that I think about it, you mentioned seawater. I was worried I'd been too careless with the latch. The documents were probably just washed away.
The words, washed away, sound distant and strange suddenly. Somewhere far away, a dog barks.
Alright, good talk, good talk. So, now, let's go talk to Joyce. Oh! Went to the village on the coast, officer. See you there, Joyce, says the note on the post. Oh. Why are you at the village? I guess I will see you there. What the fuck are you doing over here?
I'll just keep the Corda Lacey in the channel, if that's okay. It's too shallow near the pier. Aye, ma'am. And it's a jetty, by the way. Of course. Jetty. I prefer a good jetty to a pier any day. Jetty?
Hello, ma'am.
Hello, detectives.
She fastens the end of the line around the post and straightens her back.
It's good to see you here. I only just arrived myself.
What brings you here, madame?
Nothing, really. I've had my eye on this jetty for weeks now, so I decided to investigate it personally. This cluster of buildings isn't on any of the official maps, as far as I can tell.
That. And she's also keeping an eye on you.
Have you been spying on us?
Spying has such a negative connotation. I did track your progress along the coast, however, and decided I would be better able to assist you from here. Then there's the matter of that little scamp in old lady clothes. She threatened to paint the cordelate red. Like blood, you see. Well, I like it the way it is. White.
Racism.
What is this? Destruction of property? Hooliganism? Elder abuse? And who is this scamp, anyway?
Leave it be.
No matter. Lillian and I are getting on much better. For one, she appreciates the concept of rent.
Oh, yeah.
How do I like it?
She casts her gaze toward the village slush melting in the cinder blocks, construction work left half finished 10 years ago.
Water drips down eaves of Eternite. The jetty below her feet creaks to the tune. The smell of salt and dog shit in the background.
It's pornographically poor. The street has no name, all the men are dead or missing. And is that the carcass of a motor carriage over there?
Do not ask me about the motor carriage, but the, oh no, the village only has women in it? How terrible. What a disaster that is.
I'm surprised that woman hasn't put me to the sword yet. Maybe she will. You should ask your questions while you can.
Alright, so, you're not, like, profiling them or anything, are you? Like, that's great to see.
Dark eyes survey the coast leading up to Martinez. Dull grey metal rests in her scabbard. A sword. The wind is too loud for her to hear.
Fortunately for you, madame, the RCM is on the scene.
All right. Politics time. Let's react.
Hell yeah.
Real men, real politics, real thoughts in your head.
I don't really like any of these answers. Try not to be scared. This is just how the real city looks.
Oh, I'm not frightened, officer. I'd never...
She leans against the railing, looking up at the grey sky.
Above you, there forms a quilt of alto-cumulus clouds, twisting into each other. The wind tugs and stretches them over the bay. Their cloud shadows slide over the ruins of Revachol West. Wherever they pass, the temperature drops slightly, but perceptibly.
Have I told you how they discovered this place?
This island?
No, they're in Celindian, Isla.
I thought you were going to say Phasmid. You got me excited. No, you haven't told me how they found it.
Well, your condition has left you no worse off than most of these people. The literacy rate is around 45% west of the river.
That's pretty good.
50 years of occupation have left these people in an oblivion of poverty.
Oblivion. That's so me.
I knew you would sympathize. Most Revacholians will never know what this place means. Our home. This island of matter. Or why they were ferried over in the first place. Remind me to tell you one day. For now, how can I assist you in this new location?
Tell me now. We have some time.
Do we?
He glances at his watch. It doesn't look like he does.
I hear you have singled out a suspect and are in pursuit. This is cause for cautious optimism. I would not want to delay you.
This story she will tell only before she leaves Martinez, at the very end of her stay.
All right.
Maybe there is something else I can assist you with while you're...
Everard.
She's not even asking you anything. It's so easy to just say.
Ma'am, this whole thing is a takeover.
A takeover?
Yes, it's not a strike. You aren't being let in because there's nothing to negotiate. The Union is taking the terminal.
If they're taking it...
She looks towards the colorful mountain of crates, like toy blocks rising above Martinez.
Green livery, changing into red, blot by blot. Like a cancer of the blood, metastasizing.
Please do not say these words to me.
Then we're talking about a war. Everard needs to let me into the harbor at once. We need to talk about this.
He's ready for a war. They all are.
They most certainly are not. Crenell has 1,000 men on their payroll. The next batch will be a platoon of 20 men and a gunship.
Yeah, I didn't... That's a lot more men than I expected them to have, but I didn't have high hopes when I only thought they had a couple hundred.
I've seen the Union's forces. They are better organized than these mercenaries. They also have the support of the people of Revachol.
That just doesn't sound likely.
It will take more than Crenell to wipe them out. Wild Pines will need to send more and better equipped men. Make no mistake, ma'am.
I'm not sure, personally.
I am sure you have the money. The question is, how many years and how many lives are you willing to sacrifice?
What do you suggest I do?
First, will this affect your decision-making process?
Everything affects the decision-making process, Detective.
Officer?
The look on the lieutenant's face conveys uncertainty. He doesn't even sound angry.
For once, I don't seem to know what the right thing to do is.
I wish there was a disco option.
I'm afraid we won't disco our way out of this one.
She says with considerable regret. It's a really difficult situation. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Everart's terrible, but obviously killing a lot of people is also terrible, which is what the inevitable thing will happen, which is what would inevitably happen. Everard also will probably also kill people, or at least do considerable harm to them, even if he doesn't kill them. We already know he will do so, in fact, because he wants to run these people out of the village. So... both bad. Both bad. I mean, we obviously won't have any actual impact in this. This just isn't that kind of game. You know, it's not the kind of game where we're going to overthrow capitalism at the end of this. We are an insignificant cog in the machine. I don't know. I don't like any of the answers particularly. I would say the gloaming, but I feel like Kim would disapprove of that. This is a fairly significant factor in my decision-making process. Would Kim approve? It's not the RCM's job to make these decisions.
Of course. Your job is to clean up after them. And it looks like there will be a lot of cleaning to be done in the near future.
So what are you gonna do?
What will I do?
She says, slowly looking around.
Her arms fall to her sides. Her spine relaxes.
Did I ever tell you how they discovered this Isola? During our reality lowdown?
You said you would one day.
It may be the only break we've ever caught as a species. The last one for 400 years.
Why?
The nations who colonized this Isola called theirs Muindi, the world. It was all they knew, all they thought would be. That there would be something more was a gamble, akin to another world, or life after death. The Pale was thought to be impregnable, perpetual. Irene la Navigateur, the Queen of Suren, sent 8 expeditions, one after the other, into the mass at the edge of the world. 5 of the crews did not return. 2 did, but had lost their minds.
Each of those expeditions would have been led by an admiral. Sounds like a purge. Like she was purging her political rival.
Sounds cruel.
There was no precedent for such an undertaking. People thought she was punishing the admirals, or had gone mad, or both. Until after years of trial and error, and the development of a strict psychological regime imitating the creation process of poetry.
What the fuck did you just say to me? What the fuck did that mean?
Called Volta Doma, or Return from the Sea.
The 8th expedition returned sane and intact. They told of a new continent of matter. They told the Queen and her counselor, Dolores Day, that the Pale had begun to condense, day after day, hour after hour, minute after minute, slowly raining down until it formed a vast ocean.
The air is cold and scented with petrichor. There are rain circles on water all around. Humidity crawls up your back like a piano trill.
Put your hand in the rain.
So does the lieutenant. His mouth is slightly open as he looks to the sky. The droplets feel warm, like spring rain.
This ocean?
The phenomenon has never again been encountered. For a time, the crew thought they were experiencing a hallucination. The mass hand proclaimed, "Lancielend, Lancielend," the signal to wake up. But they could not. They were sane and conscious, as islands began to appear on the horizon. There are 78,000 uninhabited islands in the Insulindian archipelago, officer. The freckled face of God.
You've thought it a million times.
Afterlife, death, after death, life again, after the world, the Pale, after the Pale, the world again.
A total shift in human comprehension of reality. On the 2nd day, a great skua was shot down above the flagship Lizargique. The bird was preserved and brought back, along with pollen. 4 years later, the Queen's Counselor was proclaimed Her Innocence Dolores Day, the elected world spirit. The age of humanism, internationalism, and parliamentary rule followed. We were high.
Leaving us here.
On Caillou. The Pebble. The largest of the fertile, uninhabited islands of the northeast Insulindian archipelago. 4 centuries and 2 revolutions later.
The great skua was the first bird they saw?
The first living, autonomous organism. Proof of reality. It's the symbol of Insulinde, detective. The coat of arms of the suzerain and the wings on the crest of the commune.
And this was the last break we got?
The nations of Mundi proceeded to discover 5 more Isolae. Or they discovered us. All in the rush of the great inter-Islary reconnection. But these others weren't uninhabited. We had to kill people there. Wipe out indigenous populations. Gunboat economies. Or they came to do the same for us. Or had done to each other. But here...
Well, you probably didn't have to do that, did you? But...
there was no one but the Skua, the Liliat Saya, and the Blood Beach, and the River Esperance. It was the new world. The Mondials used it to amass the greatest concentration of wealth mankind has ever seen. Revachol, the suzerain.
What happened?
Revolution. Poverty. And the mercurial rise of capitalism.
Disgusting. It's raining.
It is. Soon it will be spring and everything will blossom.
The gangs will run wild, jacking motor carriages, ferrying amphetamines through Cold City. Spring is tough in Revachol.
What will you do?
I will surrender Terminal B to the Union.
Is that within your means?
She puts her hand in the rain. She's silent for a second.
We will see.
Fair enough.
Ma'am, this may well unravel property law this side of the river. If that occurs, we may never see the end of this kind of confrontation. The next time there will be 2 strikes, then 4, then 100.
What happens will happen.
She takes the end in her rain-slick hand and starts untying the knot.
The age of capital has only begun. I will talk to my employers in person. We will amputate and cauterize Martinez. If you handle the situation on the ground.
We? She generally avoids that term with her employers.
There are no employers. She's a member of the board. Probably a partner.
You are the Wild Pines. There are no employers.
You are the citizens' militia. There are no superiors.
What? Of course I have superiors.
That's right, Detective. And next time, you should confer with them before you go setting events in motion.
Despite his words, he's not really sure whether to be annoyed with you or not. Events are already in motion. Whether your actions accelerated or momentarily retarded their progress, even the lieutenant cannot really say.
I answer for my own actions. I don't hide behind some faceless organization.
Here I am. I am the face, and I'm here to answer. Rejoice Layton.
You're going now?
Yes, Mr. Clare has a 2-month head start. I can't let it grow any bigger. And I've exhausted all my options from here.
Understood.
Keep the peace, and I will keep my end of the bargain.
We had a bargain.
How far along is Cronell's investigation?
The confrontation is imminent. They have followed in your footsteps. As your investigation reaches a climax, so does theirs. They are your shadow. Arm yourselves. Armor yourselves. Protect their targets. Violence may be unavoidable, but we can limit the casualties.
When will they make their move? Where?
Soon. I do not know precisely. They have cut off all communication, you see. They know I've been feeding you information. One last thing, Lieutenant Dubois. I've given the matter much thought and come to this conclusion. You're not an amnesiac. You're insane.
Well, I could have told you that.
I know, because I, too, am insane. I just hide my illness better. And I'm rich.
Isn't everybody a little insane?
No, Detective. No one's as insane as you.
Well, I didn't say that, did I, Joyce?
Don't worry, madame. I am very sane.
Goodbye, nether creature of the Forbidden Swamp.
Watch out for yourselves. They will strike soon.
The lieutenant watches her boat grow smaller on the bay, its white sails fluttering. With worry in his eyes, he does not know if it was the right thing to do, but he doesn't say anything. You wonder what Everard has to say about this. Slowly, the sails turn grey-blue as more oxygen gets between you.
I don't care what Everard thinks about this. The Insulindium Miracle. You were reminded of a poem somewhere deep inside you, the translation of which you don't remember. Nulla sarà cambita della luce. It begins, Colori cum grigio e moren tutti stampiti sull'altro tra voi un vuoto, una magia, oh fuck, bianca, gli altri godrono? Che bella giornata, che bel tempo. Me senti la retovita? You were reminded of it when you heard about the discovery of the Insulindi. But what does it mean? And how do you know it by heart? As interested as I am in the homosexual underground, that sounds like it's probably more interesting. Let's forget Wasteland of Reality. That's generally not very helpful. Do we have another point, or is that it? That's it. Okay. Hey, could I borrow a boat from you, perhaps?
Oh, the sea's gonna calm down soon. I can feel it.
Okay,
The
let's
wind is
not
turning.
do that. I guess it's time to go and apprehend the suspect. Because, I don't know what else to do now. We didn't find most of the pieces of armor, which kind of sucks, but we did find the cuirass, which is the most important part, at least. Flashlight. Gun.
Holding the gun feels natural and satisfying. It's like an extension of your arm, the polished wooden handle almost fusing into your palm.
I think my hand recognizes it.
It reminds you of the day you first held it, with fear and respect, hoping you don't have to use it in vain. The sun was out in Jamrock. It was so long ago. This gun, Sunrise Parabellum, will be the only thing standing between you and the all-consuming nothingness that threatens to eat the world. Sheathe it and wait, Herald. It won't be long now.
Alright. We're going in, boys. That's the wrong way. Hold on.
This isn't just glass. These are old computation components.
These are computer components?
Yes, filament memories. From the time when wires were cast in glass, slides with an inlaid nervous system.
How do they do that, and why?
The how was a closely guarded secret. Something that was locked in safes in human heads across the river where they were manufactured. As to why, your fingers don't know. The why is easy, because they hadn't come up with modern silicon-based systems yet. For vitreous cast filament memories, though, these seem incredibly advanced.
Hey Kim, look. Old cybernetics.
So it is. I think it is used to form a single system, slotted in the wall.
So this is all that remains of Feld R&D?
The rest of the building seems to have been picked clean.
Could this be part of Feld playback experiment?
These? No. These are old filament memories. I hope you're not expecting to find a device here. You will be disappointed.
All you'll find here is pain.
Okay, thank you, Inland Empire. Good input, as always. I'm never disappointed. Alright. Here we go. Tight. Tight. Concrete pipe buried in sand and dust. Oh. This is composure and shivers. This is a jacket. What does our current jacket do? Empathy and hand-eye coordination. I'm constantly afraid of combat, so I'll keep the hand-eye coordination one on.
Suddenly, your entire body is paralyzed. Aggressive white noise fills your skull. A strange pain, like you've never felt before. Through the static, you hear a woman's voice. It's like 1,000 radio stations are being blasted into your head all at once. But her words are the only ones you can make out.
I know you're feeling pretty uncomfortable right now. Don't move too much or fight it. That'll just make it worse. can't say it's a pleasure, officer. I was really hoping not to make your acquaintance. But here we are.
As she says the word officer, you feel a spike in the agony. It sounds like the entire radio frequency range is screaming directly into your neural pathways.
Cover your ears?
No, buddy. That's not going to help. You can't shield yourself from this. It's an entirely new type of experience. Way worse than all the previous ones.
Fuck, we've had some pretty bad experiences.
Don't focus on the pain. Focus on doing your job. Tell her she's under arrest.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna work out, no doubt. Are you gonna kill me too?
No, I'm not going to fucking kill you. If that had been my plan, you'd be dead already. All things considered, I'm being pretty reasonable here.
You're blasting me with what? The pail?
I'm using a pale latitude compressor. You and your partner have been caught in its field.
The explosion of static you're hearing. It's the ULAN frequency, blasted from that pale emitter that Angus mentioned.
I saw your equation. It's the Ulan frequency.
Saw my equations? You've been sniffing through my lorry, right? I expected as much. I am a bit surprised you knew what you were looking at.
Okay.
A pale latitude compressor is used to sort of make the pale more manageable. With a lot of these, you can force a radio signal grid on the pale, literally crunch the distance across it. Signals are relayed across a series of repeater stations fixed to buoys. Not a fun job manning those stations. All alone out there in the pale, people lose their minds in just a few years.
So, what we are experiencing is a concentration of radio waves.
He gestures towards something with great effort.
Precisely. This is an industrial strength paraboloid. It's meant for forcing dimensions on something that doesn't have them.
What?
Needless to say, the frequencies used are out of this world.
You're forcing the fourth dimension onto me right now? Jesus Christ.
At the upper limit is the large prime number generator station. It's used specifically for pale latitude compression. That's why you may be hearing some numbers. But you might also hear, or think you're hearing, local radio chatter.
She likes telling you about the machine. Keep her talking. Look for an opportunity to break loose.
How did you get your hands on this thing?
I built it myself.
She gestures towards her torture device.
And she's proud of it too. As she ought to be. This is way beyond your ability.
Yeah, no shit.
That's illegal. I'm guessing it's patented. But we are beyond that, aren't we?
She's done a few illegal things, I think.
Oh yeah. Way beyond.
Have you experienced the compressor yourself?
Yeah, I stuck my head in there before using it on you. It seemed like the ethical thing to do. Can't say that I enjoyed it. The field was weaker, but I can imagine what you're going through.
This is all great, but let's talk about the man who was killed.
Yeah, let's not talk about that shit. You were hunting me and fell into my trap instead. That's all there is to say about it.
So she thinks of you as hunters, not the cops. And of herself, merely as prey.
Could you please turn it down so I can ask you something?
If you've got something really important to say, you can do it through the white noise.
You're looking for a deal with my mattress.
Jesus Christ.
done this.
God damn it.
She regards you and Kim with sudden sympathy.
Fine. If you really want to talk, I can dial it down. I've also got a gun, by the way.
She steps reluctantly out of the shadows. The pain lessens.
The gun she's carrying is a two-barreled front loader, not like the murder weapon. Well, it doesn't feel much better, but she can form sentences now. Thinking doesn't seem to hurt as much. There's only 3 meters between you and the machine. If you keep her distracted for long enough, maybe. Be careful when you make your move. That'll be it for questions. Bide your time.
How did you know we were coming?
I heard you in the passages, and I've been preparing for quite a while.
By hiding bullets under floorboards?
So you found my shack, huh? I'm not surprised.
Her tone is bitter. She thinks she's been betrayed.
She didn't rat you out, by the way. Isabel, the washerwoman.
So nice. That's one knife I didn't want to find in my back.
As opposed to the other knives she's finding there now. Hardy for one.
Preparing for the worst?
I was. Before I caught you in the pale latitude compressor. I'm fine now.
That's her admitting the bullet was an emergency exit.
Mm-hmm.
It was dark in the shack. The waves outside had calmed down. She looked at the loaded gun. Then she cracked the barrel open and took the bullet out. Not today.
Did you shoot Laylee?
No, I didn't do it. I only helped stage the lynching, though I doubt that makes much of a difference to you. Who ratted me out, by the way? Was it Titus? No, he wouldn't have broken first.
She's clearly a gender traitor. When I threatened to arrest her, Clausier broke. She told me everything.
Oh. Well, I guess I always knew she was a survivor above all else. But she couldn't have known I was on the coast. How did you find me?
Your own boys told us you were on the coast.
My boys?
Ruby boys. Formerly the Hardy boys.
What? I don't even understand what you're trying to get at here. Oh, doesn't even matter. How can they be my boys when they're not even my friends? Those guys liked me, I know it. This is what happens to people who people like.
A dull despair is creeping into her voice.
How the fuck do the rest of you get by?
Wait, wasn't it you who called me the human can opener? It's not personal. I opened them up.
I did, didn't I? Now you've come for me. Fuck them all the same.
That did make her forgive them. A little.
I do it by asking questions. Oh no. Honestly, I don't know how I do it. I just stumbled in here. Can you please explain this shit to me?
What shit? I told you I didn't do it. Sounds pretty simple to me.
A strong moral compass. She still wants the opportunity to make a case for herself.
Would you say Laylee was a likable person?
I didn't like him. Hardened mercenaries aren't particularly likable types.
There's nothing more personal that you had against him? Perhaps his way with women?
You think I was envious of his conquests? Look, pussy's not a problem for me. And definitely not a reason to off someone.
Ah, people have offed people for lesser reasons than that. You don't... I do not feel sympathy for them. Did you feel protective of the Union?
Yeah, sure. And I didn't like Wild Pines sending in those foreign hirelings. Me and a fuck ton of other people around here.
She didn't hate it, okay?
I have other questions.
I'm listening.
Do you have an alibi for when Laylee was shot?
Man, I was with the boys the whole night. I hope they at least bothered to impress that upon me.
There were 10 minutes they couldn't account for.
You mean the length of a toilet break? That wouldn't even have been enough time.
Hold on, no one takes it for true. Our investigation has shown that 15 minutes was just enough time to commit murder.
Wow. Now I'm curious. Please, explain.
Look, there's a secret way from the first floor of the Whirling to the roof.
Don't know it, but also...
evaluating your competence as a police officer.
The shot couldn't have come from the roof, or we would have all heard it downstairs.
She has a point there. No one mentioned.
You have a gun.
And
Where'd you get it?
the gun store,
What gun store?
Trigger Happy Jacks.
That doesn't sound like the name of a real store.
What did you think? That I'm going to squeal on my gun supplier? Sorry, I'm not that kind of gal.
It's a front loader. Do you have another gun somewhere?
Sure don't.
The breech loader?
No.
This is such a wipeout.
Yeah. Do you collect guns?
No, they're not practical. Break too often.
Can't quite tell. What kind of gun is it?
A Noctway 80 front loader. 2-barreled. Not really what you were looking for, I'm guessing.
That isn't it.
There's other evidence I want to ask.
Yeah. Evidence.
You liked Clausier a lot.
I considered her a good friend, yeah.
Is peeping one of your hobbies?
I'm not following your clever insinuations, Detective.
There's a hole in the wall. You can see into Clausier's room. I wouldn't... Okay, I would. Okay, I wouldn't blame you if you've...
If I want to stare at a pretty girl, I can pick one up at a bar. Or, worst case scenario, look at a naughty photo. Who has time to go skulking about the whirling, drilling holes in walls?
Clausier looks like a girl in one of your posters. She seems to be your type.
What the fuck, man? She's everyone's type. She's your type. Are you sure you're not the one who is excited about the peephole?
I can't say she's my type.
She's beginning to suspect you've broken into her lorry now.
So you haven't been watching Clausier through a hole in the wall?
Nope. Look, she has an effect on people. That je ne sais quoi that makes it impossible not to look at her when she walks into the room, and very difficult to look away. But travel enough and you realize, for the same reason that she's everyone's type as an object of desire, she's not irreplaceable.
Are you a girl like her?
What the hell, man?
Yeah, why not? I've gotten worse.
Her hand slipped from the dial of the compressor for a moment, almost turning it down. Then she put her hand back. Not yet. Not yet.
But you wanted to be more than friends.
Oh, so that's where you were going with this.
She said you wanted to run away with her.
That's a very sentimental way of putting it. We both had pasts we didn't want to catch up with us, and we enjoyed listening to music together. Why not go on a road trip?
The lieutenant watches her expectantly, occasionally shaking from the pain.
Okay, fine. I was into her. Clausy was into me too for a time, I know it. We even fooled around once. And yeah, after that I thought maybe we could make a go of it.
Clausia only said they maybe kissed. Someone is lying here.
Wait, Clausier said you only kissed.
If that's what she wants on the record, so be it. I'm not about to go into details for you to jerk off to later.
Seriously, just move on.
I do not... Yeah. Then what happened?
She rejected me with some wishy-washy bullshit about how she was confused because she felt so close to me and valued my friendship so much, and how guilty she felt for leaving me on. I knew that wasn't the whole story, but thought, fine, I'll take it and move on.
This is very different to what we got told before.
No ill will then. It wasn't a problem for her.
Clausier said you got very angry when she started seeing Lele. Threatened her.
Yeah. One time when we'd both been drinking, I said some heated things about how dangerous her patterns with men were. I was a little worried she'd blow it out of proportion in her head. All the drugs she was doing can make you feel like you're living in a DeLorean tragedy.
And despite everything, you helped her by staging the lynching.
Yeah, the girl seemed terrified. The merc was beyond caring what happened to his mortal coil. It was a no-brainer.
There are other things.
Go ahead. It's your body.
And mine too, he thinks. But keep on. This must be done.
Would you like to hang out on rooftops?
Who doesn't? Oh, you probably mean Clausia's rooftop. Sure, I've hung out there. She's got this great antenna.
What's so great about her antenna?
It's very powerful. I used it to tune into RCM frequencies. That's how I knew to be prepared for your arrival.
Is that the only reason you hung out on the roof?
The view's pretty bomb, too. But you might say the antenna was the main attraction there, yeah. Along with Claudia.
So you're sure you didn't shoot the merc from the roof?
Yes, I'm sure. And anyway, as I said before, the shot had to have come from afar.
Did you leave any flowers?
No. Gifts of flowers and candy aren't really my style.
These weren't just flowers, they were symbols of revolution.
So now I'm leaving revolutionary symbols around? Come on.
But Clausier was mourning.
I never did understand why, when someone dies, a hothouse's worth of flowers has to die too.
Okay, so you didn't leave Maybelle's.
No, I did not.
You're running drugs for the Union.
So, Heart of Gold Tommy fucked me over too. Never trust a musician.
So true.
That really comes as a blow to her.
No, he didn't. I found my own way in.
Okay, great. You got into my lorry on your own. What now? You're going to arrest me for drug trafficking?
Beneath it, she's relieved Tommy didn't betray her.
You had a financial incentive to kill the merc.
Man, it's to get away from all that murderous shit that I left Jamrock, my previous employer, for the Union.
She deliberately avoided naming the mob she worked for. You might be able to find this out later.
I got lucky being a dispatcher. Never had to do any of the really dirty work myself. This gun has only been used for self-defense against serious scum.
There. It's going to be easier to reach the machine now.
But you're threatening us with it.
Based on what I've heard about you, you are serious scum.
Okay, let's take a step back.
Yeah? Where?
Who killed the merc if it wasn't you?
How should I know? As I keep saying, he already had a bullet in his head when I got to him, and there hasn't been any useful gossip over the radio.
Those rings around her eyes, her tired voice. She's been staying up late, listening in on the conversations crisscrossing Martinez.
Police radio? You've been following the case?
Who hasn't? You know, I can still see him there, in Claus's room, lying on his side. He was still warm, but the bluish light coming through the broken window made him look as though he'd been dead for a good long while.
What happened Sunday night? Tell me your version.
She eyes you warily, as though gauging your sincerity. She's refusing to adopt the demeanor of a cornered animal, a leader with no one to lead. She still wants to retain some control of the situation.
It's okay. We just want to...
All right, don't kill yourself over it. I was shooting the shit with Hardy and the boys over a few beers, like always. Then Klasia comes in, all pale and shuddering. She sits down with a drink, trying to steady her nerves. So I grab a seat next to her.
Did she also seem high to you?
Oh yeah, super. But I didn't think too much of it at first. I'd seen her party hard before.
Clausier said you knew something was wrong immediately.
No, I really didn't. She's not that easy to read. I just assumed she'd done too much blow. It wouldn't be a first for her. But no such luck. She was in some deep shit.
We are being told some conflicting information.
She asked me to come upstairs. The merc she'd been going with was lying on the bedroom floor, dead. I knew she couldn't get the authorities involved, so yeah.
You made it look like he'd been hanged.
Clausier said you seemed to have a plan prepared.
What? No. Faking a lynching was her idea.
Her idea?
Yeah, in cold blood. It really surprised me how quickly she was able to get a hold of herself once we got up there. It was like she was another person. The party girl was gone.
Well, this is very different suddenly.
She asked me to help her drag him into the shower so she could wind the shower head around his neck to fake lividity. Then she dressed him while I went to get the Hardy boys.
Maybe it was Clausier. Fuck.
Glacia knew exactly what she was doing. You can't remain calm under pressure otherwise.
Showerhead, resourceful.
Yeah. I wasn't sure whether to admire her or be disturbed.
Do you think she killed Laylee?
As I keep telling you cops, we didn't hear anything downstairs. No gunshot, nothing.
But even if this is true, weren't you worried this lynching might lead to...
War? The thought crossed my mind. But the mercenary's death was going to have repercussions either way. Although the way things are going...
She doesn't want to talk about this, but not because she has something to hide. She doesn't want the guilt.
Fuck it. I'm not responsible for these people after what they did to me.
If you didn't kill him, why hide?
I saw you roll into town. I wasn't about to stick around for questioning by a goddamn La Puta Madre agent.
So this is what she was scared to tell Titus. This cop.
What do you mean, La Puta Madre?
Yes, you. Everyone says you're his peon, his human can opener.
Through the sudden sharp pain in your head, you hear the lieutenant mumble something to himself. Fucking hell. And why me? You hear through the white noise. It's especially bad suddenly. Felt like a vein exploded.
Who's everyone? How do you know this?
Everyone in Jamrock. The cops, the criminals. Why do you think I'm holed up in here with a goddamn death ray waiting for you?
If she knows that about you, she must know your real name too.
Tell me, what's my name? If you know that about me, you must know my name.
Harry Dubois. One corrupt motherfucker with the disco pants and a funny tie. Agent to La Puta Madre.
I don't know who that is, but this sounds really bad and I don't like it.
So she knows your name. That doesn't mean you're on the tape. Criminals make up bogeyman stories about cops all the time.
True.
All of this just means that you're effective. Criminals know you and are scared of you.
La Puta Madre. I've heard of La Puta Madre. He's dangerous, right?
Is that a joke or a threat? I'm guessing both.
I'm sorry, I know I'm supposed to know all about this, but I lost my memory recently.
Yeah, sure.
She doesn't believe it.
That's fair enough.
I'm sure La Puta Madre himself will explain it all to you soon enough.
A man in a white suit walks through a garden coaxed from soil that had once been covered in asphalt. A city block closed off from the rest of the city by dark buildings. Rows and rows of poppies, most of which have lost their pink bloom, flank his steps. The man looks around, then up at the sky, sighs. Taking out a knife, he crouches at the end of one flower bed. He scores a seapod, very gently. Milky sap begins to ooze out. The pain comes over you again.
What did you do to this, Madre?
You've been to my lorry. You think the biggest player in Jamrock appreciates competition? And now I have Harry Can Opener in my lair. Fucking Titus.
Wait, one thing. Possibly small, but she said you rolled into town. Was that you singular or plural? She might know something.
When I came into town, was there anyone with me?
Yeah, you had your death squad with you. What happened to them anyway?
My what? What? Who was in the squad?
Well, it wasn't this scrawny dude. You had two guys and a lady. The guys looked pretty buff. Lady wasn't bad either.
What else can you tell me?
One of the guys seemed chipper, a blonde. The other had a brooding something or other about him. And the woman was the only one in uniform. All were carrying. That sound about right?
No idea who these people are, literally.
No, doesn't ring any bells.
Well, this has been a great talk, really. But I think I'm going to hit the road now.
She needs it. You better make your move soon.
Alright, let's go for it. Destroy the machine. You're just gonna let me do it, huh?
You did it. The compressor lies broken on its side. It's quiet in your head again. It still hurts like hell, but...
You okay, Kim?
All good, officer. Be careful.
She looks at the machine, assessing the damage. Her hand trembles.
Oh, fuck it.
Convince her to put the gun down.
You should know the words to say. You've been here yourself. So why is it not coming to you?
Why am I standing here like an idiot?
Because you've been going around pointing a gun at yourself, trying to answer the same question in vain. Her finger squeezes the trigger now.
But she doesn't deserve to die like this.
No, wait. Finally, it comes to you. A way to connect with her.
I know your pain. I've been let down by women too. Fuck!
She flashes you an incredulous grin. Then she exhales sharply, shakes her head, and pulls the trigger.
Oh, God damn it.
You watch as her brains trickle out through her neon hair.
Oh, God.
Fuck.
The lieutenant stands motionless, watching the blood pool in the sand.
Get a hold of yourself. He needs your support now, too.
She killed herself. I failed to talk her down.
Lieutenant Yefreitor Dubois, control your emotions. We did our job. This won't be the worst thing that happens on this case, believe me. You can't let this break you.
There is no coming back from this one. It will stay with you in nightmares.
What did we just do?
Our job. It went really bad. And now we need to clean it up.
She died. How can he be so cold?
Okay. What do we do now?
We clean up. It may take days for processing to pick up her body. We need to move it somewhere. That tent there.
God damn it. Well. Let's put the gun away. Fuck me. What a disaster. Cooking utensils. She's prepared herself porridge with bananas. Dark water trails into the distance. There is no way out. Tight. I did just go through a lot of that. Hey, $8. Let's go.
The plain red tent stands by dispassionately.
Look inside.
You see a rolled up sleeping bag and personal belongings.
We should put her in the sleeping bag, so the rats don't get to her.
Okay, let's carry her over here.
The lieutenant nods. There she lies, cocooned in the sleeping bag, surrounded by empty cigarette packs, books, and half-read magazines. Magazines? You should look through them.
Sure, ma'am.
Assorted soft covers, mostly pulp horror. A motor carriage lies buried in the snow on one cover. On another, a ghost airship. You also see a collection of radio enthusiast magazines.
See anything?
Shift through.
Rager Monthly, Journal of Material Science. More Technological Digest. One of the magazines doesn't have images on the cover. It's not a magazine. It's a leather notebook.
A notebook.
You pocket the worn brown leather journal. She watches by, motionless.
We should read this immediately, like right now.
You are absolutely correct, Kim. I'm kind of bummed out. Oh yeah, I found this on the way over, by the way, but it didn't seem very important.
A thick journal. The cover is worn like someone used to carry it around in their back pocket.
Examine the cover.
It's made of full-grain leather. The lower left corner of the back cover sports an embossed brand name. Schneller. Schneller is a stationery brand from Gottwald, beloved among architects and engineers. She had good taste and must have taken what she recorded here seriously.
Unwind the strap.
The journal falls open. About 2/3 of its ruled pages have been filled.
Study the handwriting.
The large cursive of someone who writes quickly and confidently. Perhaps too confidently. Many phrases and even paragraphs have been crossed out, with tiny corrections scrawled above and in the margins.
Flip through.
It's a mix of logistical notes, diagrams, and personal reflections, all dated.
We could learn a lot from this.
What kind of logistics?
Hard to tell exactly. It's mostly noted down in code. Looks like contact information, quantities, directions.
There could be useful information about local operations in those notes. We have a junior sergeant at my station who's good with codes. I can give this to her after we finish this.
Professionalism is his coping mechanism.
What are the diagrams of?
Esoteric radio technology. The most recent ones probably pertain to the latitude compressor, sketches, calculations of distance and density. You make out a familiar spiral shape.
Anything personal?
Short, wry observations of people and places. Probably a way to pass the time on the road. Also, what appears to be attempts to sort through some difficult decisions. There are a few passages with many questions in them. Staff issues. Always tough on the leadership. You smell traces of betrayal.
How far back do they go?
The first entry is from August 2nd of last year. It reads simply, I know my position is precarious. All I can do is make myself as useful as I can while looking for a way out. Remember, no one is indispensable.
What did she write the day Laylee died?
Nothing on March 4th. March 5th, though, well, that's bound to come back and bite me in the ass. I'm bad at this. Loyal to a fault. But that's another matter entirely. She is referring to betraying her previous employer. Does this suggest she did it in self-defense?
Anything about Puta Madre?
That name isn't mentioned as far as you can tell. Small wonder. Would you talk about La Puta Madre in your journal? You do see an M, though. La Puta Madre. M is mentioned on March 9th and March 15th.
Read the entry from March 9th.
Great. M's peon is coming to town, no doubt to investigate the lynching. But also, I feel it in my gut to finally put a bullet in my head while I'm napping in my lorry or on a smoke break. Well, I won't stick around just to twist my own neck by constantly looking over my shoulder. Then again, isn't that what I've been doing ever since I got the call?
Got the call?
The call? Did M call her personally? Why? Things played out just as she had feared. Except you didn't shoot her.
This is not me. I wouldn't do something like that.
Maybe it's the old you. Or maybe she was just paranoid.
I don't like this version of Harry, where we are some sort of underling for a gang boss.
No, not even the old you. No you would do that.
I hope so. Read the next entry.
Been holed up here for 3 days now. I'm used to being alone and all, but I don't know when I'll be able to leave, or if I'll be ratted out. They will rat me out, of course. I've made it a point to believe in the best in people, the boys, for example. But experience tells me, did M feel truly betrayed by me? I was feeling threatened. He'd have to know if he threatened people, they'd take measures to protect themselves. Even I know that. Economic measures, first of all. Gotta make a living, right? I can still hear his voice in the receiver. Taste the plastic. The entry ends abruptly.
What's the most recent entry?
The most recent entry is from today. It reads, even when I leave here, if I leave here alive, what's my next move? Staging a lynching is a crime, even if I'm not accused of murder on top of that. Forever on the run. Not really my idea of the open road. Man, I was really looking forward to winning.
Oh.
I don't think she killed the mercenary. It looks like she might have been framed.
Yeah, maybe.
This whole thing was a detour, and a fatal one, he thinks. Don't get emotional.
Okay. What do you mean, framed?
By the Hardy Boys? By Classier? By us?
Kim, am I really a La Puta Madre agent?
No, I don't think you are. Ask someone in your precinct if you want to be sure.
He truly does not believe you are. Perhaps he shouldn't be so trusting.
Drama.
His trust is well placed. You aren't. You can feel it.
I hope so. Then who do you think killed the merc?
Glacier was the one who pointed the finger at Ruby. Perhaps she was trying to steer us away from herself.
But no one heard the shot.
Maybe she had an accomplice. Either way, we need to keep an eye on her. One thing is for certain. We have business back in the whirling in rags. Questions to ask. We should get to it.
Yeah. Yeah, we should do that. What a disaster.